He was only 17 when he was betrayed, wearing his flashy robe, dreaming of greatness, until his own brothers jumped him, ripped it off, and threw him in a pit like yesterday's trash. Their plan? Let him rot. His crime? Dreaming too big. Joseph lived with his father Jacob in the land of Canaan and helped tend flocks with his brothers, sons of Jacob's other wives. But Joseph often brought back a bad report about them. Jacob loved him more than all his other sons because he was the son of his old age and the firstborn of Rachel, his beloved wife. As a sign of that love, Jacob gave Joseph a special tunic, a richly ornamented robe, a symbol of blessing and favor. He was already hated by his brothers for being his father's favorite. To make matters worse, Joseph began to have dreams that disturbed his brothers. "Listen to this dream I had," Joseph said eagerly. "We were binding sheaves of grain in the field when suddenly my sheaf stood upright, and your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed down to it." His brothers glared at him. "Do you intend to reign over us? Will you actually rule us?" It felt like a threat. That moment planted something dark in their hearts, jealousy, that grew into rage. But Joseph dreamed again. This time, the sun and moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me. When he shared the dreams, his brothers were jealous. The response was not admiration, it was rage. Even his father rebuked him. But Jacob kept the dreams in mind. Sometime later, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers grazing the flocks near Shechem. Dressed in his colorful robe, Joseph journeyed alone. When the brothers saw him, their hatred boiled over and they conspired against him. "Here comes the dreamer," they said. "Let's kill him and throw him into one of these pits." But Reuben, the oldest, stepped in. "Let's not kill him. Just throw him into the pit." For he hoped to rescue Joseph later. So when Joseph arrived, they attacked, ripped off his robe, and threw him into a dry, dark well. Then they sat down to eat. As they were eating, a caravan of Ishmaelite traders came by on their way to Egypt. Judah proposed a new plan. "What will we gain if we kill our brother? Let's sell him to these traders instead." So they pulled Joseph from the pit and sold him for 20 shekels of silver and watched as their brother, the dreamer, was taken away in chains into Egypt. Reuben returned to the pit, only to find Joseph gone. He didn't know that the brothers had sold him. To cover their tracks, the brothers took Joseph's robe, slaughtered a goat, and dipped the robe in its blood. They brought it to their father and said, "We found this. Examine it to see whether it is your son's robe." Jacob recognized it immediately. "It is my son's robe! A ferocious animal must have devoured him!" he cried. He mourned for many days. No one could comfort him.
By the way, if you find any of these videos interesting or enjoyable, please consider subscribing. These take a long time to make, and it really helps out.
In Egypt, Joseph was sold to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh and captain of the guard. But even in slavery, the Lord was with Joseph and he prospered. Potiphar put Joseph in charge of his household. Everything he touched flourished. But Joseph's good looks caught the eye of Potiphar's wife. When Joseph refused her advances, saying, "How then could I do such a wicked thing and sin against God?" she falsely accused him of assault. Potiphar, enraged, threw Joseph into prison. And still, the Lord was with him. One night, 2 of Pharaoh's officials who were in prison for offending their master both had dreams. They were the chief cupbearer and the baker. No one could tell them what their dreams meant until Joseph said, "Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me your dreams." He translated their dream, and the cupbearer's dream meant restoration in 3 days, while the baker's dream meant execution. Both came true, exactly as Joseph had said. Joseph begged the cupbearer, "When you are restored, remember me." But the cupbearer forgot him. 2 more years passed. Then Pharaoh had disturbing dreams, and none of his magicians could interpret them. That's when the cupbearer remembered the Hebrew prisoner. Joseph was summoned. "I cannot do it," Joseph said humbly, "but God will give Pharaoh the answer he desires." Joseph explained. The 2 dreams were one. 7 years of great abundance are coming to Egypt. Then 7 years of famine will follow. Let Pharaoh appoint a wise man to store food during the good years, so that Egypt may survive the famine. Pharaoh was amazed.
Wow!
Can we find anyone like this man, in whom is the Spirit of God? Joseph was appointed second in command of all Egypt, at just 30 years old. When famine spread, Jacob sent his sons to Egypt to buy grain, except Benjamin, Joseph's only full brother. They bowed before Egypt's governor, not knowing it was Joseph. He recognized them immediately, but he spoke through an interpreter and tested their hearts. So first he accused them. "You're spies! You've come to uncover the weakness of Egypt!" They stumbled over their words, swearing they were honest men. 10 sons of one man, once 12. One was gone, they said, and the youngest was left behind. Joseph's eyes narrowed. That youngest one was Benjamin, his only full brother. So he pushed the test further. "Bring your youngest brother. Prove your story." He bound Simeon in front of them and sent the rest home with grain in their sacks, and silver secretly returned. Later, when they came back, Benjamin included, Joseph hosted them for a feast. But the test wasn't over. He framed them. He slipped his silver cup into Benjamin's sack, and as they were leaving, his steward chased them down and accused them of theft. Back in the palace, this was the moment Joseph had waited for. Would they abandon Benjamin like they had abandoned him, or had time and guilt changed their hearts? And then Judah stepped forward. "Take me instead," he pleaded. "Let the boy go home. If he doesn't return, our father will die of heartbreak." It was no longer the voice of jealousy. It was the voice of repentance. At Judah's words, Joseph's heart broke open. He commanded everyone to leave the room. The Egyptian officials were stunned, but they obeyed. Only his brothers remained, confused, nervous, silent. And then Joseph said the words they never expected to hear. "I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. Is my father still alive?" Silence. Their faces went pale. They couldn't breathe, couldn't move. This powerful ruler was the brother they betrayed, and he was weeping. "Come close," he said. "Don't be afraid. You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. But do not be distressed. God sent me ahead of you to preserve life." He forgave them and wept with them. The dreams had come true. The dream was never about ruling over his brothers. It was about saving them. Word reached Pharaoh's palace that Joseph's brothers had come. Pharaoh was pleased. He told Joseph, "Send for your father. Bring your whole family. The best of Egypt will be theirs." Joseph sent his brothers back to Canaan with wagons, silver, and gifts. But most importantly, he sent a message. "Tell my father, Joseph is alive, and he rules all of Egypt." Jacob and his family, 70 people in all, left Canaan and moved to Egypt. He was reunited with his son. Before his death, he blessed Joseph and his brothers. After Jacob died, the brothers again feared Joseph's revenge. But Joseph said, "Don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to save many lives as he has done this day." Joseph lived to see his children's children. Before he died, he told his brothers, "God will surely come to your aid and bring you back to the land he promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." He made them swear, "When God comes, take my bones with you." And then Joseph died in peace, with faith in the promise. Though Joseph died in Egypt, his bones were placed in a coffin, not a tomb, a reminder that the story wasn't over. Centuries later, when Moses led Israel out of Egypt, they carried Joseph's bones with them, through the Red Sea, through the wilderness, through every trial and battle, until the day they laid him to rest at Shechem, in the very land Joseph spoke of.